Hello trainers, and welcome back to the channel where we are experimenting on our overlays all the time. So over here now we're having a Greninja team for today's content as Great League is coming to an end for the season, and I decided to make a team around it because it is a favorite Pokemon, a fun favorite Pokemon actually for the whole community of Pokemon in total, so I guess that this is gonna be a fun experience. And to my surprise, this team absolutely works on any rank. I recommend this team to a trainer that is already legend and is playing on that elo and told me that they had some pretty positive results. So over here now we're just gonna dominate against Registeel with our Clodsar, and as you can see we can easily sort it down. I guess they were trying to catch the Stone Edge, but we know much better. And now with our Whimsicott coming into the game, I think that all we need to do is to land one Seed Bomb, and that is gonna be the end for the Shadow Fair Alligator. At this point I decided to let the move go through, because if that is gonna be another Hydro we might be in deep trouble, but they end up going for the Ice Beam. I know now that my Greninja can somehow survive pretty much anything that this Shadow Fair Alligator is gonna throw, and the Glassy Pokemon is still gonna get the victory with a couple of Night Slashes, but they're gonna let the first one go through, so we're gonna end the first battle kinda earlier. Into the next game now with the Lantern up in front. Hopefully this Pokemon is gonna be destroyed down by our Earthquakes, and they manage to catch on the Dragonair. So Shadow Dragonair still takes a ton of damage, as we can easily farm down all the way with our nice Whimsicott. So this Pokemon looks pretty nice on its attitude, but it is so mean. It can bully so many teams, and as you can see here, Lantern cannot escape at all. We already have a couple of Seed Bombs, and we can easily grab a shield here if they want to keep that Lantern around. So they actually do that, and now another Seed Bomb is imminent. All we need to do is to go ahead and push further this Pokemon. Now they are almost shieldless, and I guess that we can easily destroy them down with our Clodsar. Guess what? They are not almost shieldless, they are completely shieldless. I thought that they still had one shield remaining, but this is not the case at all. Annihilate is at the very end. I'm so glad we have some energy and the advantage on the shields, because we can easily shut it down with the Night Slash with our Earthquake, and that is gonna be absolutely awesome, as Night Slash here is gonna guarantee the knockout over Annihilate. I'm super glad that Annihilate is getting nerfed down, because a lot of trainers are using it, and to be fair, Counter really needed a nerf at some point, and seeing that happen next season really brings a smile on my face. Into the next game now with the Unova Stunfisk. So this Pokemon now can easily be a menace for our Clodsire, but hopefully we can survive the Thundershocks while the Earthquake can do a ton of damage in return. However, they can easily outspeed us at every single condition that we're gonna be in, so I guess that over here we can still take one more Mud Bomb before we go down. I'm praying that we can survive, yes we can trainers, and one more Earthquake to deliver a hard hitting blow on that Stunfisk. Of course they can still survive, but this is just fine for my Whimsicott, because we still resist pretty much whatever they throw. And with that in mind, we can get on the next battle with a ton of energy. So they end up going now into the battle with Wigglytuff, and the battle is definitely not over yet, because we still need to get that final shield out of play. We managed to get it with a Hurricane, but unfortunately for us, those charms are still gonna hurt down our Greninja over here. So the beloved Pokemon from the series, I guess it's gonna have kind of a rough time over the final Pokemon, but since they are shieldless and they have a Dugong, we can easily get here the boost on our Pokemon, and at the same time, by blocking, we can somehow guarantee that we can go with back-to-back Night Slashes. My opponent did not go for the Icy Wind, which is absolutely crucial. I was expecting the switch at this point, that's why I went for the Overfarm, and now we have pretty much quite what it takes to finish off this Dugong in finesse. Into the next game now with Annihilate up in front. I have already told you how excited I am for the new season because of counter getting nerfed down, because up to this point every single season was a counter season. You cannot deny it, every single counter user was pretty much meta. Even something like a Vigoroth could still perform pretty well with counter, but next season all of that is gonna change. So now we're just gonna see Clotsar in action here as it's gonna go down on the Frenzy plant. It doesn't matter though, because we have Whimsicott coming into the game. I know here that perhaps they are not gonna expect Hurricane, so I'm just gonna charge up to that point and see how they react, but they end up switching out on their Talonflame. This is absolutely fine. On the CMP we can fire off our Hydro Cannon, and this is obviously gonna be in one-way situation for me, because all we need to do here is to reach yet to another Hydro to grab their final shield out of play. If I were them, perhaps I could take the move and completely rely on the Venusaur, but it is what it is, and before that next Incinerate is registered, we're just gonna finish them off with the Hurricane, as we can easily charge up to another one for the nuke over Venusaur, and my opponent is definitely gonna be left with their mouths open. Time now for perhaps the worst core breaker of this team, and that is Gligar. Not only this Pokemon pretty much has quite what it takes on its typing to wall down completely my Clotsar, but also has access to moves to destroy down both Clotsar and Whimsicott, which makes it one of the biggest, if not the biggest threats out there for this team. So let's see how well we can do here, as my opponent decides to switch out on their Azumarill, and that makes me think that perhaps they have already figured out my lining, since they want to protect that Gligar for the very end, just in case my third Pokemon is weak to that Pokemon, and of course it is, since that Pokemon is my Whimsicott. So over here now I'm just gonna get my hands on the Seed Bomb to get that shield out of play, and now we get one more Seed Bomb, this time for the Gligar. My opponent definitely did a mistake here, I guess. They really need to keep that Gligar around, but let's see what their final Pokemon might actually be. I'm getting some pretty nice vibes that my Hydro Cannon here will get unshielded, which means that we can easily snipe down that poor Altaria, that poor Azumarill, excuse me, and now Altaria is at the very end game. So right here I want to drop them as low as possible, as I will try to destroy them down with my Hurricane. Obviously here I really wish that I had at this point something like a Moonblast, because that could have easily be an easy victory, but the battle is definitely not over yet, because Hurricane can land on that beast. Before we get here on the Seed Bomb and most probably the knockout move, they're gonna knock us out instead with the final Sky Attack, and that is gonna be a pretty rough one for us, because we had a chance here to win all this around. If only we had Moonblast, but Hurricane is much more spicy and of course much more entertaining. Into the next game now with the Guzzlord up in front, and we can easily do a ton of damage with our Stone Edge while surviving their own moves as well. If I were them, well, I could agree with me at this point that this is gonna be kind of an even battle for both ends, so I decide to let my Pokemon go down, because Whimsicott here can pretty much wall down that Guzzlord, and instead it can also go ahead and completely farm down a ton of energy. And you already know that Hurricane can connect for a ton of damage on the next Pokemon. Look at that, this time on the Skeledirge, and they're kinda weak at the back on my Greninja, so I guess that we can easily go ahead and spam those Night Slashes. Did you see that? We just took the boost. This is absolutely awesome, and now with the shield advantage we can always outspeed to that final charge attack, so I decide to go for the shield here, get on the Night Slash and absolutely destroy down that poor Feraligatr. I was counting the moves at this point, that's why I went for some extra moves, and right here we get another unnecessary boost, because we can still finish them off even though those boosts are gonna be into the game. into the final one out trainers with that Cresselia up in front. All we need to do is to stay in there with our Clotsar and hope that they do not have Future Sight. That move is also gonna get nerfed down next season, slightly of course, on the damage output. Instead of 120 it is gonna do 110, so keep that in mind. So anyways, now we still survive that Grass Knot, which is a game changer for me. We can drop Cresselia pretty low, and in the process we can go here for the Night Slash to finish them down. Let's see how they want to play this, because they sealed and obviously I need to block the Grass Knot as well. Perhaps we can farm down completely here, or at least I was hoping to, because on the last turn they get on another Grass Knot and make me block this move once again. I know I could easily go ahead and let that move go through, but obviously I want to keep my Greninja a little bit more around, and with a ton of energy stored up I can easily get that sealed out of the game on the next Pokemon, and as you can see we absolutely did that. Not only that though, because we also destroyed down Skarmory, they have the Mud Boy at the back, and that is gonna be a fantastic ending for our Greninja Whimsicott core for today's content. That is gonna be all for today. Thank you for watching trainers, and over here I have 2 more videos for you to check out. Feel free to check them out, and I will catch you up later into the next one.